Hello and welcome to the Workers' Party Campaign Talk broadcast. My name is Mark Belshaw and I'm a prospective candidate for the Workers' Party, and I will be your host for this evening. And I'd like to welcome our first guest, Haroon Khan, to our broadcast. Hello, Haroon.
Hello, Mark. Great to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Fantastic. It's great to have you on, Haroon. Now, would you be able to tell us more about yourself and give us a little bit of an idea of the local area you're looking to represent?
Yeah, of course. My name is Haroon Khan. I've born and raised here in Rochdale. And my roots are deep here in Rochdale. My family live here. My parents came here in the 60s, worked very hard in the mills, and running right now a driving school, which serves all of Rochdale. So we meet local families all the time, not just in the area that I'll be standing in, which is Kingsway, but all across Rochdale. And we've seen a lot of the youth coming up and learning to drive and then moving on to the job. So we serve not only the young people, but also training people to become instructors. I've been doing that now for a couple of years. So taking people out of employment, getting them into work, and helping the people in our community to begin working as driving instructors. So that's something I've been doing as well. And the second part of the question is Kingsway. I'm standing in Kingsway as a prospective candidate. I did stand last year as well. So, but only because I only had a 3-week campaign. And as I said earlier, the first time was so nice we had to do it twice. So I'm back again to do it again, and I'm looking forward to it. It's been great, and the response has been amazing.
And just wanted to ask you the question, what made you decide to stand to be a councillor, and why did you choose the Workers' Party?
Okay, so well, this time, and it goes back to when I stood the first time. I mean, the first time when I stood, it was because the Workers' Party was the only party representing the working class people. Me coming back from a working class background, I related to the party. I heard their message loud and clear, and it resonated with me and many people across the borough. So I very quickly, never being involved in politics ever before, became very kind of warm to the idea of standing. So I did it then, and the response was absolutely amazing. This time, I'm standing because the people wanted me to stand. When I brought into this area, and my office is in Kingsway, I spend all of my time in Kingsway. It's where I work. It's where the driving test centres are. It's where all the instructors come. So the response, whenever I saw the people walking around, or if I was going to the Friday prayers, or if I'm in the area, and I'd had people coming over to me saying, "Haroon, are you standing again?" And at the time, I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to think about it." But I said, if the people want me to stand, then I'm going to stand. I'm not doing this for no name tag or political, point scoring, or trying to become, in any way for my own self. This is strictly because the people asked me to stand again. Standing again means it's a challenge. I think anyone who wants to stand in these current in this current climate is going to face a lot of challenges along with it. It's one of the toughest times in the world to be putting yourself forward and standing as a candidate. And there's going to be many challenges that you're going to have to face. So I'm ready for that. I'm ready to speak for the people and the problems that they are facing, from rising costs. I mean, affordability is one of the biggest things that we've been speaking to the residents of the people. Affordability is a huge problem right now, whether it's home, whether it's council tax, whether it's rising bills, and there's no one speaking for them. I mean, we have people already in power right now who are only interested in food, pictures, and ceremonies, but not listening to the ordinary people, the people having to work 12 hours a day and having 2 jobs. and only getting like 4 hours sleep in between, just to pay their bills and their cost of running their home. And we're not having people speaking up for them. We're not having people speaking up for the elderly. We're not having people who are. We've just learned that more cuts are now being made to the state pension. So, I mean, these are more new challenges. It seems like day by day we're having to deal with more new challenges that are going to be thrown at us. So yeah, it's going to be a fight, and it's going to be tough. And I hope to be the person who's going to represent my constituency and be able to bring forward a new way, a different way. I'm not coming with promises, but I will promise to fight for every single person in my constituency, and that could be used as a slogan. But people who know me and people who know about me and whether on work, I've been fighting for the last 15, 16 years. I came back, I had nothing, to now making one of the most successful companies in Rochdale, which seems to be growing and growing into other cities as well. So it's something I've been doing for the last 15, 16 years. I'm not a career politician. I'm someone who represents the working class people, and it's an honor to be with the Working Party and the Workers' Party, and it's great to be with. It's great to be a candidate for this party, because it is the only party that speaks our language, and it's an honor.
Mhm. I agree with you on that, Haroon, and I think that your past experiences and connections that you've made in the community just by being your authentic self will surely put you in good stead when your name is put on that ballot paper. Again, like your ward in Kingsway in Rochdale, what are the policies, the key kind of policies that you want to be standing on in order to improve your local area?
Okay, so the policies that I'm looking at working on first comes to what are the issues in Kingsway. And when we listen to the people, there's a housing crisis going on in Rochdale. We have overcrowded homes, long waiting lists, poor quality homes that have got damp, mold, cold homes. Families are priced out of the local area. We got crime and antisocial behavior, drug dealing happening on corners almost on every street. We have youth disorder, lack of visible policing, and even people feeling unsafe at night. Road traffic and parking is a huge problem, and we would know about that coming from a driving school myself and speaking to all other driving instructors in the area. Potholes, damaged roads, congestions, especially around the schools, reckless driving, speeding, and not even enough safe crossings for children to cross. And the big one is affordability. And we're going to come back to cost of living. So cost of living is a huge pressure right now. And it's on pressures on families, on young people, the elderly people, and the working class. We see families struggling to pay just for the basics. We see them struggling to pay for their energy. We see them, even local businesses, fighting to survive. So we see our spectrum, where cost of living is absolutely affecting every single person. Lack of investment in the area. We have labor in this area, and the lack of investment. We've got neglected parks, poor street lighting. Fly tipping is a big one. I mean, everywhere we went, when we was knocking on the doors, canvassing, talking to people, then one of the big ones were fly tipping, and something can be done. They just choose not to do it, and I'll come back to my policy on what can be done in just a moment. One of the other things is healthcare access, and as you heard Waka on your previous episode talk very explicitly about the NHS and the maternity ward, the A&E being taken out of Rochdale. And this is a huge thing, which not only affects people in Central, where his constituency is, but even in Kingsway. The entire borough is affected by this, where people have to wait up to 15 to 20 minutes for an ambulance just to arrive in the borough, because they have to come from outside of the area. There's not enough support for the elderly and the vulnerable either. So this is something, the policies that we've heard people discuss when we're out. So what do we need? What is it that I will be standing on? Housing that puts local families first. We're fighting for more affordable homes. At the moment, we got a lot of land in Rochdale which is just being sold away to these private organizations. And what's happening is they're turning those lands into not affordable homes for people to buy, but we're actually seeing these homes which are being put on rent, not for social, not for the council. They're being privately rented, and what's happening is the prices of rent to rent a home are twice, sometimes three times the price of what people would have paid just 5 years ago. So seeing that happening all across Rochdale. We're seeing home after home being built to be put on rent, and the prices are going up. And that, what does that do? Landlords think, well, if they're getting 1,200 for a 2-bedroom home, then why can't we? They end up upping the price too. So it affects everyone in the who can't afford to buy a home, which are young people who are trying to get onto the property ladder, who simply can't get out of renting because they can't save anymore. We see safer streets and zero tolerance. So that's something that we've demanded more. We'll be demanding more police presence, more youth programs. In this gym, now, when we talk about youth programs, we also just talk about if we just go around and look around at where do the youth like to spend their time? It's the boxing gyms, it's your gyms, it's your MMA places. Rochdale has always had gyms. Almost sometimes you've got 4 gyms in one area, and these gyms are not being neither supported or promoted, and that's what we need to do. We need to get the young people, programs in these places and support these places that get the young people off the street and into a more physical demanding sport. Kingsway roads do need fixing, so that's something that we're going to be reporting on repairing all potholes, traffic calming measures, dangerous areas that need sorting out, safer crossings near schools, cost of living help, create partnership for food support. We're looking at warm hubs and financial advice as well for people. If we want to look at a good example of how we stand on policies and how we do this, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, we've got to have a look at, we have 2 candidates in Rochdale standing already. We've got Councillor Farouk and Councillor Minam, right? And they are visible. They are there. Why do they have a record breaking of cases to deal with? Because they have surgeries on a weekly basis. They have an office which you can just walk in and give your case to whoever's, if it's Minam or Farouk. And there's only so much casework they can actually take. But they are taking more casework than the entire councillors all put together. And that's because the people trust them. The people know that they're the ones who are standing for the working class people. And people are going forward and putting their cases to them when they never have before. Many of the people who are coming forward now have never come forward before. They never trust the system. People are sick of having their intelligence insulted by politicians. And that's why it's important that the Workers' Party and the candidates that come into the Workers' Party represent the people, the ordinary people. And it's time to put politics on the side and let the working people, let the ordinary people lead the way on what they want, and we should be fighting for their voices and what they need. There is a long list of policies that we're going to be fighting for. But the number one thing we need to look at now is one and foremost thing is we need to stop insulting the intelligence of the people. I am one of those people who probably never avoided voting. I didn't like politicians. And I wouldn't open the door to a politician. If a politician had knocked on my door, I didn't have time for him because I knew it was the same old slogans, same old promises, and same old speeches. But we, the people, and I stand with the people on this one, we're sick of that. So that's the change the biggest change we're going to bring to. So, and we see proof of that already with Manam and Councillor Farouk, who are doing an amazing job in Rochdale. The only issue is that there are only two. We can't forget that the Rochdale is majority Labour candidates, Labour councillors, sorry, and we have an MP who's Labour. So two councillors can only make so much noise, and still, and I can tell you something, they're still making a change. They're still being heard. And now you can imagine if we had 4 or 5 more councillors fighting for the people of Rochdale in the town hall. It would be absolutely amazing. I look forward to doing that for the people.
Well, I can commend you, Haroon, on that in-depth explanation of the issues that are going on in your ward, and you seem to know more about what's going on in your ward than it seems the other local Labour councillors do. And as the other fellow Rochdale Workers' Party councillors I've already mentioned when they've been on the broadcast, and you've mentioned there previously, that they're taking on an immense amount of work because they are engaging actively with the community with those weekly sessions and being able to actually put their finger on the pulse of their local community and are exemplary representatives that I believe that the Workers' Party more broadly can bring to the table and hopefully wipe the slate clean of many of these politicians, whether they're Labour or Conservative, who've gotten too comfortable in their seats and they simply just see it as a guarantee. What is your perspective then on our policy of affordable and secure housing and how it's going to impact your local area as well as impact the country on a wider level?
Okay, so when we have affordable housing, families will thrive. If we look at the number one reason why people don't have as many children now as what they used to is because they don't have the money to pay for the child, to pay for their needs and look after them. And that all comes down back to affordable housing as well, whether it's renting or whether it's purchasing their home. We see families thrive. We see children doing better in school. Routines are more stable, and even the health improves. How does health improve? We mental health problems, which many people are facing due to rising costs and cost of living, that would improve. Finances stabilize. People have more money for other things. Even stress levels drop. We're looking at communication. Communities getting better as well. So the community overall will do a lot better when there's affordable housing that's available. Even opportunities open up as well. So the main thing here that we've got to look at is housing is not a luxury. It's a basic human need. And when housing is unaffordable, everything else suffers. So it's very important that we have decent and affordable housing in Kingsway and in Rochdale and the UK as a whole. It kind of, as I said, it affects everything. So it's very important.
Mm-hmm. Completely agree with you on that. And I think one of the key issues that keeps getting brought up is the fact that housing is not only too expensive, but that the quality that people get, where some people are spending £1,000 a month, or they're having to spend pretty much over half of their monthly income just on being able to afford rent or on paying a mortgage, has a significant impact on the quality of life that people have, but also has a severe impact on the economy as well, which ends up having a knock-on effect on everything else, whether it's on social services or on anything else that the local council is providing. And I think housing as well is that when you hear it in the mainstream media, a lot of the perspectives seem to be almost not just housing, but also quality of life, whether it's with jobs or whether it's with anything or with having children. The mainstream media seems to put it forward as an idea that everyone should be living a Spartan existence, that people should simply be working simply to pay off the landlord, to pay off the bills, to pay off pretty much everything else, and have really no reason that this assumption that you should have disposable income at the end of the week or at the end of the month to be able to spend on yourself and be able to enjoy life, to the point where now there's now arguments in the media of whether or not people should be having kids or whether people should be allowed is quite a dystopian level of rhetoric that we're hearing now in our country, where it's been going to the dogs for so many years. And I think as myself and a couple of people on the call today, like we're quite young people, and we've basically seen since we were children all the way up to the point where now adults now, that we've just seen the country on a downward slope year after year. And I think the recurring joke is in our quite short lifetime so far, we've seen 3 once in a lifetime crises in a row. We've had the 2008 crisis, we've had you had the dot-com bubble burst, you had the 2008 crisis, you've had the COVID crisis, and it feels like every single day, month, year, we're knocking on the door of the next crisis. So I think there is that need to bring hope back into politics and actually give people a genuine alternative that they can vote for, that they can follow, and that actually puts genuine change on the table. Final question to you. Why do you believe that people should stand as a Workers' Party candidate?
Well, Mark, you know what? I was gonna read off this here, but I'm telling you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get rid of it. We don't need it here.
Speak from the heart. Speak from the heart.
Let me speak from the heart right now. We'll speak directly to the people who are watching. And Mark, it's a great question, but it's not something I can just quickly answer. I'm going to try and keep it brief. Right now, in the world, what we're seeing is a very dangerous situation. We're seeing the as you mentioned before, the rhetoric is going so far right. The narratives that are being played are dangerous, and we can see that with anti-Semitism, Islamophobia on the rise. We're seeing a very dangerous time coming. If these are allowed to continue to be played out unchallenged, we don't know what could happen. People are sick and tired of the cost of living. And what these parties are doing is they are, instead of dealing with the core issue, instead of dealing with the problem that is at hand, which is cost of living and affordability, instead of that, they throw digital ID at you. Here, have a digital ID. Here, have digital currency. Is that what we want? Because if we sit idly by and sit by and watch these, what them play out, well, that's what we're going to have. What does digital ID mean? It's a digital prison, you can call it. You can call it many other things. But what are we going to do? By idly sitting by and watching this happen, we're going to let it play out. Because if we sit idly by and we allow this to happen, then we are also responsible. The Workers' Party is the only party that opposes all of these threats and speaks up for the working people. It speaks up for those people who are in need, for affordable homes. And if you look at our 10-point plan, you'll see exactly point by point what we stand for: justice, equality, fairness, and freedom. And if you stand for those points and you can see which way the world is going, then you need to stand for the Workers' Party, because the Workers' Party is the only party that will resonate with the ordinary people. When people who are sick of politics, people who are sick of politicians, people who are sick of being made false promises, this party is for you. If you believe that fairness, equality, and freedom is something that you want, then I'm an ordinary person. I was working before I became a candidate. I'm not a career politician. I've not done any political speeches before. Yeah, I'm speaking from the heart right now. We really do need people who believe in that we can turn this around, and we can. I believe we can. George Galloway, the party leader, believes we can. Other candidates also believe we can. We here in this video right now, we believe we can. Right? It can be done. We've seen it in New York. We've seen it in New York. We just lately, what have we seen? We've seen the people rise, go against the elites, rise up against the elites, rise up against the billions of dollars that are being spent to take one person down. And what happened? The people won. If they can win it there, I know we're talking about the hotspot of all. When we talk about elites and outside influences coming in and trying to create a narrative and trying to create a rhetoric which can be very dangerous. And if people can rise up and go against them, why can't we do it here? In the UK, we can do it as well. Mm-hmm. In New York, we can also see it here. It gives us all hope that it can be done. This dangerous future that's in front of our eyes right now cannot be allowed to come on. That's why you need to be a candidate for the Workers' Party, and that's in a nutshell. So yeah, I'm very proud to be starting the Workers' Party. I'm very proud. I'm very happy that I can look back one day and say I stood up. Yeah, I stood up to the elites. I stood up for my community at a time when it was in need. I stood up for the community when it was under threat from outside influences, narratives, and a very dangerous time. I was one of those people that stood up at that time, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to winning. We are leading the polls, and I'm definitely on course to winning. So let's do it. We're going to make a difference.
That's fantastic to hear, Haroon, and I think as well that's the key aspect that we're standing for is hope, because there's so many people in politics now who are just mudslinging and throwing around all sorts of horrible rhetoric in regards to all sorts of policies. And I think that is the key thing that's missing, well, not just in politics, but in just society more generally. And I think you yourself are a perfect example of that in Rochdale, and are a shining example that they'll be able to vote for, and yet another potential councillor that can help that local community and be a representative and be a voice, because it's so desperately needed in politics at this moment in time. Now, I would have brought that to Samira as well, but unfortunately we seem to have lost the connection with her, but I'm sure that she would have had much the same thing to say and would have supported the points that both of you have made there. So I would like to thank you all for attending this broadcast this evening, and I wish both of you, as well as Samira, the best of luck in your future campaigns. Workers' Party activists were at the Digital ID protest in central London on Saturday. Here's some footage from the event.
The digital ID! We say no! The digital ID! We say no! The digital ID! We say no! The digital ID! We say no!
But yeah, just stick around for a bit longer. Just waiting for a few more people to come, and then we'll go.
The Workers' Party out here today.
The Workers' Party are against ID, basically. We don't want to be in a situation where you're monitored on every move you make. We don't want you to have your money restricted, your travel restricted, and all the type of things that will happen as mission creep builds up for ID in Parliament. Various people in the community say that's what we want to start.
Yeah. And
bit dangerous.
yeah, the good thing is this twizzles. This thing turns on a pivot, so I can walk and talk.
Right. Well.
Yeah. So do you see that being like a major risk under just this government, or is it?
I think it's a major misstep by this government because they're not listening to the people. There's a recent poll on the issue. A questionnaire to Parliament. It's the fourth biggest questionnaire that's ever gone in.
Yeah.
People are massively objecting to it. I know it's not a massive march for me, but I think it was just need to make the point.
Yeah. Do you reckon this is something Reform will pick up after they get in?
Hey, what?
Do you reckon this is something Reform will pick up when they get in?
I can't well where's reform today. You're not here.
Yeah.
Maybe the bottom line is, I don't think they will get in. I think there'll be a split down and there'll be all sorts of different parties involved. And hopefully, Workers' Party will do well, and not only in May in 2026, but also any general election. But the Labour Party structure, Labour Party is dead, Tory Party is dead. There's a new space to occupy, and we should be at the forefront of that.
Yeah. And if you had like a final little something to say to the public, what would it be?
Join the Workers' Party, help us get elected, make sure that we got our candidates in every council in the country. That's what we're working for, and we're well on our way to starting that.
Your name and affiliation?
Hi, so my name's Travis, and I'm just a freedom fighter like everybody else did, I suppose, yeah. I really like this logo and this design here for the no digital ID. I think that's great. There's all these stickers everywhere and flags, and yeah.
Yeah. And what's brought you out here for the digital ID movement? What was the final straw for you that got you active?
I think digital ID can lead to a lot of control from the government. We really, really have to be careful about this. I'm very concerned of how far this would go if we don't stop it now.
Yeah. And I take it in that regard, you don't trust our government anymore than you trust these governments in China, America, or so on, rolling out this kind of technology.
So for a long time, I was completely against any kind of politicians or politics or anything. But now I'm like, I think there can be good people that get into positions of political power, but it's definitely not what we have right now.
Right.
So there's no way that letting a Labour government get away with digital ID is a good thing in anyone's given force. I don't think we actually need it. So it's like, we don't really need it. It's not going to solve these problems that they're saying that it's going to be for, like illegal immigration. I don't think it's necessary. There are some things I think that can be very useful for society and for humanity, that if we have the right people using them, then they're good. If we have the wrong people using them, it's very bad. Like AI is another big example. If we have the wrong people using that, it would be terrible. It gets so powerful, so smart. We have the good people using it, we can get wonderful people for all of humanity. So, digital ID, just don't fucking need it.
Yeah. And if you had like one message to put out to the public, no matter what it is, what would it be?
So I've been involved in activism for many years now, and I think that when we come together and we channel our collective energy, we can actually make change in this world. A lot of people believe that we can't make any change. We can. It just takes a lot of effort and coordinated effort.
Do we trust the government? No! That's what we like to hear.
And if what you've heard this evening has motivated you to get involved, then visit the Workers' Party of Britain website and click the Become a Candidate link to submit your application. Or if you're just looking to get involved, then click Join to become a member. And tune in at 5 p.m. this Sunday, 30th of November, for our 6th instalment of our NHS Call the Doctor series, where I will be standing in for Chris Williamson as host with the eminent Dr. Bob Gill. And finally, I want to thank everyone who tuned into this broadcast. If you've agreed with what you've heard, then please share this with friends, family and colleagues to let them know there is a genuine alternative. Let's build Britain a future it deserves, because Britain deserves better. Thank you for watching.